So I animated something and it's called Villains Are Destined to Die. It's a webtoon called Villains Are Destined to Die. So basically the main character, a girl named Penelope Eckert? I call it Eckert, but it could be Eckhart, who has to navigate this otome game that she got trapped in, and any wrong move is basically death. And it has a bunch of like little splices of romance with some action, and it's a great webtoon. And also probably one of the most beautiful webtoons I've ever read. Usually these type of webtoons or like this type of like media, it's really hard to get details in because you have to add in a bunch of colors and stuff. But this one is like each like panel is like something like an illustrator like beautifully drew, and I don't know how they do it. So like, you know, top tier. So I wanted this webtoon to come to life like I've seen others like Solo Leveling and Tower of God and Who Made Me a Princess, which don't tell me where to find it because I literally cannot find it. I didn't even know this was an anime until I started looking it up. But let me run down how I brought this webtoon to life. So I kind of skipped an important step because this wasn't supposed to be anything special. Usually before you start animating, you're supposed to do a storyboard and then start animating. But I didn't do that because this wasn't supposed to be an animation. This was just a simple like test. I had the idea from this channel called
My name is Dong.
Dongchang. I'll put it up in the video so you can see. But this is the channel, and I saw he made a tutorial on how to create a panagram, and so I was like, okay, I kind of want to try that because I want to spruce up my animation skills because they are lacking. And I chose Penelope from Villains Are Destined to Die because I was rereading the series at the time, so I was like, okay, I'll use that. I had finished the rough for the animation, like the keyframes and breakdowns, because I was not about to do in-betweens because this was only supposed to be a test. But then I was like, okay, I can keep cooking with this because I was happy with the results, you know? And so I was like, okay, maybe I can make a scene in this. And so I made this cut right here. But then I was like, okay, but that doesn't make sense with just these two shots alone. And so I kept adding to it until I was like, okay, this is enough for something. Before animating anything, I created like a reference, like a sheet, so I knew like what the clothes they were wearing, and minor spoilers, so this is like not a huge one, it's like nothing big, but this is the scene where Penelope faked being sick to avoid Callisto. By the way, if I didn't mention, Callisto is like one of the love interests in this series, if I didn't mention it already. She faked being sick to avoid Callisto, who visited her anyways, and so I took a bunch of screenshots from that episode or chapter, and then screenshots from like the internet and stuff like that just to get what I needed. The other shots I did the keyframes for them, and then once I was happy with those keyframes, because you really got to make sure that your keyframes are good, or else everything else is going to be so you have to make sure that the keyframes are good, and then the breakdowns are smooth. So you got to make sure those breakdowns are smooth, or else your whole shot is gonna look choppy or it's gonna look weird. But once those two are good, then I do like the in-betweens. Not gonna lie though, I high-key got lazy with the in-betweens because I believe they're the most tedious and boring part of animating, in my humble opinion. Especially that panagram, that definitely could have used some more in-betweening, but oh my god, I could not for the life of me finish that one because it was a little soul crushing, not gonna lie, but maybe in like a future video I'll like maybe do like a proper panagram. But okay, moving on. So I kind of did that for every single shot I did, so we can kind of breeze through those ones. And then for like the cape, I like for the last shot, I did the movements first for Callisto. So I didn't even like really think about like, or I did think about it a little bit, like when I was doing the keyframings. I only added the cape movements during like the keyframe, just so I knew where like the cloth's general like direction it was wanting to go, like what I kind of envisioned for that. And then after that, I kind of just like, once I was done with all that, I added in like the secondary action for that cape, so that you know, it would look natural, and I ended up really liking it. So once I finished animating all that, I went straight to backgrounds, and they weren't too bad. Like, so the scene where it's taking place is just like in a their front yard, because it's basically a park because their property is massive because it's like dukedom. They're rich, so their front yard is a park, and so that was easy for me because all I had to do was draw a bunch of trees and bushes, and so they look kind of rough, not gonna lie, but you know, it gets the job done. Next is color, and confession time. I'm sure the people who know how to animate realize this, but I totally forgot to add the shading line art during that line art phase, or like the cleanup phase, because I'm kind of skipping line art. But so don't look too closely, because if you look closely, you can kind of see where the shading looks on me. You can kind of tell already, but so I kind of just like raw dog that shading, because you can definitely tell, but I could have went back. I should have went back. At that point, I had already like added in all the color before I had realized my mistake. I kind of just took the L and just to remember next time, but I really should have done it because it ended up looking 10 times, or it ended up taking 10 times longer, and it looked twice as bad. So so after finishing all of that, so I'm almost done. I added in additional lighting, so like this is just like the general like where the sun and shadows were, because there's already shadows for it, but I decided to add like more like mood lighting. I don't know what you call it, I guess compositing, I don't know. I did that all in clip art because I could have done this in like Adobe After Effects or something, but I don't know, it's a little expensive, so I'll do it. It looks a little messy, but I don't know. Adobe's expensive, so maybe next time, you know? And so then I go to freesound.org to get all like the sound effects and like the music for this shot, and I'm not that good with music or like audio, but you just need something simple for this because I feel like audio is pretty important for animation to bring it more to life, and you know it does get the job done, so it was pretty good. And that's it. Once I added everything into DaVinci, I was done. Overall, I'm happy with the result. Definitely room for improvement, just because of how I started off with the project. So this next project I'll definitely do more planning, just so I don't forget any like steps, because I definitely forgot to do a lot of things. Like, for example, I totally forgot to add the like the eyeshadow under her bags because she was pretending to be sick and she put makeup on. I totally forgot to add that detail, and I only realized this right now as I'm recording like this audio for video, so oops. Let me know what you guys want me to animate next. I do have a few ideas I want to do, but I do want you guys' input. For my channel, I want to focus more on like animating stuff that hasn't already been animated, so that mine's the baseline. Because like I could reanimate stuff from like Solo Leveling or like Tower of God, but that people have already done that, and so I'm like, you know, like a big studio has done that, so I'm like, why not create something that studios haven't done? I might animate Who Made Me a Princess, but you know, that might fall into the realm of something I might animate, but let me know. Without further ado, here's my animation. Okay, good night.